Hello, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
It is Tuesday with Live with Gotham Quilts. Really happy that you're here today, Ken, and love the quilt behind you.
Yeah, this looks really nice. Looks like somebody put a lot of work into it.
Yes, yes, somebody sure did.
I don't know who that person is, but
Actually, it was a really fun quilt to sew up. It's rectangles and squares, and love that design because it really lets the fabric do a lot of the heavy lifting. And so it was really fun. And the blocks are pretty big. They're about 12 inches completely finished. So it was a really fun one to sew up. I don't get to do a whole lot of sewing for the shop, but
yeah,
this one, very, very happy that I got to do it.
yeah, it looks really nice. And now the quilting is done on it. It looks really pretty. It kind of brings out all of that
Makes a
color. So,
difference.
yeah, it looks really nice. So, and I didn't catch the gradient until you showed me. So the gradient and how you had the colors coordinated. So very cool. I love it. Looks really nice.
Yeah, so we're very happy. It's a great line, Washi Plus. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, is it, Ken?
No, no, not at all. But it's up. It's ready.
Indeed. So, what we are here to talk about is if you were watching our live last week, I gave you a little bit of a sneak peek, or if you saw the email, I think it'll be pretty clear what we're talking about. Tula Pink has a new line of fabric out. And so we came on board to Gotham after we had already ordered the next line that is coming out, and that's gray work. So, that one is actually going to be shipped in probably just a week or two here, maybe a little bit longer. But wanted to bring to the Gotham folks and anyone watching here the ability to pre-order the Floral Reef. And we're going to start with the good news. We're going to start with the fabulous news. And that is we're trying something a little bit new here, that for a limited time, for the first 50 pre-orders, we're giving you a discounted rate. So if you were one of those early birds, if you know that Floral Reef is one of those fabrics, or you fall in love with it based on what we're showing you here, be sure to pre-order your Tula Pink Floral Reef because you will get a discount. And again, that is only going to go to the first 50 pre-orders. Now, the question might be, is it per fabric or per whatever? It is just the first 50 customers who order anything from the Tula Pink line of Floral Reef. So make it worth your while. Now, if you order something and then you put another order in 2 weeks, that only counts as one customer. So not to worry there.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, so Floral Reef, if you've been on social media or if you've been watching, or we're here to tell you, even if you haven't been watching the Tula lives, and I'll say that the thing that's kind of interesting is Tula also goes live on Tuesdays. She'll say, "Hi, it's Tula, and it's Tuesday." Or she'll say
Tula
it's
Tuesday,
Tuesday and I'm Tula.
right?
We don't have quite that alliteration, but we do go live on Tuesdays as well. So just about a week or so ago, Tula went through her entire collection and talked a lot about the inspiration from that. If you are not familiar with Tula Pink, she is kind of a fun modern designer. She focuses on big, bright, beautiful colors, and that will not be a surprise to you at all once you see this collection. Lots of fun things. What I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to tease a little bit about some things that are yet to come. We won't be showing them a whole lot on this particular live, but if you are interested in Tula, and especially if you're interested in bag making, there are a lot of matching accessories that come out with this particular line. Ribbon, we generally get the ribbon, the coordinating ribbon in the shop, as well as webbing. I'm a huge fan of bag making, and people can get really creative with those things. But what I'm really excited about is something new, and that is printed vinyl. So if you're making project bags or any of those bags that require some vinyl, there are some printed vinyls that go along with this particular line. So do keep an eye out for that. They are not on our website just yet. I'd kind of like to see what the interest is if we've got other bag makers too that are out there, but just know that that is an option.
Yeah. If you're a bag maker, be sure to comment below. So
Yeah, we'd like to know our bag makers
yeah,
in the audience here.
definitely, definitely.
Okay, so I am let's see here. I'm trying to figure out how to show the cool thing here.
It's a thing. Yeah, some people are saying it's a thing. So,
Bag
yep,
making is a thing?
yep, it's a thing. So it looks like we have some bag maker.
Okay, then you are going to love this collection. Okay, so there we go. So here we've got Floral Reef. And this line, again, we've got 25 different fabrics in here, along with 3 different wide backs. And if you're not familiar with the Free Spirit wide backs, they are lovely. They're made of a sateen. And actually, you know what? I'll tell you a little bit more about it when we get to the wide backs. But let's start here with the fabric. And there we go. So this one is broken down into 3 major colorways. And this one is what you traditionally think of as the under the sea colorway in those blues and those greens. The other piece that I'm really excited about is Tula's giving us some of the larger scale prints so you can get really creative and have a lot of fun with these. I'm thinking mostly of this ombre wave. So you've got the color wave, that's the ombre, and then you've got the waves in the white. So it's just a really subtle print. Now, this one is what you're seeing here is the half of the width of fabric. So the ombre is going to be basically doubled up across the whole width of fabric. So if you get a fat quarter, for example, and spoiler alert, we do offer these fabrics, we do have a pre-cut option, and I'll go through that a little bit later. But if you get the fat quarter bundle, for example, what your fabric is going to look like is this width here. So you'll have all the way from the pink I believe the pink is going to be the selvage, and the green is going to be all the way into the middle. So either whichever fat quarter you get that's cut off of that half yard, you are going to get this full ombre here. The other thing that you have to just take note of and appreciate is how cute these names are. So this one is going to be that main kind of all over print. There's a lot going on in this upper left-hand corner as you're looking at it on your screen here. This is going to be called Reef What You Sew. Ba-dum-bum, psh.
We need a sound effect, don't we?
We do need a sound effect here, I think. And so we'll just give you the opportunity. We do have these fabrics available for pre-order on the website. So if you're looking for some specific yardage, feel free to take note of the fabric that you like and the colorway you like. As you're looking at this, you will see the name of the fabric right here, Reef What You Sew. And then right here at the very, very end, there's going to be the color name. So in this case, if I wanted to order this particular fabric and just that particular fabric, or I wanted it in yardage for a project I was working on, I would look for Reef What You Sew and then in the color marine. So any of those blues are going to be in that marine. This one is the ombre is called Deep Dive, which I kind of love that too. The other nice thing about this particular collection is there are plenty of blenders. This one I think is a really good mix of those big, bold, beautiful prints like the Reef What You Sew, or this one over here kind of in the middle of the page with the teal green called Friends and Enemies.
Yeah, easy to say,
Sounds
right?
so easy to say that.
Yeah,
Friends and enemies.
I don't think I could say it. I would not even try. I'd mess that up.
But it is very fun to say. So I encourage you to try it at home. And then this color, the teal green here is in the color, I'm sorry, the mint green is in the color Seafoam. And so those work exactly the same way. Going back to the blenders, look at this lovely print. So this one is an ombre-ish of sorts. We've got this one's called the aquatic lace. It looks a little bit like fish scales too, in just kind of a fun, pretty way. And this one is an ombre with a little bit of that dark at the end. And so that is actually part of the print as well. And I told you there would be some large backing prints. These ones are going to be the 108 wide. There are 3 total in this collection, 1 each for each of the colorways. So you can see on this page, we're looking at the blue and the green and more of those traditional with the Tula interpretation under the sea prints. This one is called Big Shelly. So you'll see here we've got Big Shelly, and then over here for the regular 45-inch cotton, we've got Little Shelly. But
Mhm.
the quilt backs from Free Spirit generally and Tula specifically are so nice and soft. They're a sateen quilt back, so again, 108 inches wide. So that should cover all sorts of quilts that you're making, but a really nice way to back your quilts. They're of a really great quality, nice and soft and lovely. We have here, so these prints are all probably going to look pretty similar. We've got the prints again in now this is the pink in that, gosh, I would call it maybe like electric yellow. Not what you'd think of as the traditional under the sea prints, but gorgeous nonetheless. And as you're shopping this, just remember that for the first 50 pre-orders, we are giving you a discounted price. So if you wanted to take a look at that, I think we should get the um, yeah, I think we should get that out there. So if you were looking to shop the Tula Pink Floral Reef collection, that QR code is going to get you to the place. We've been through the blue and the sea foam, the marine and the sea foam colorway. This one is the Coraline, so any of that coral or the pink color is called Coraline, and then this neon is seagrass. So this is a lovely colorway too. We'll also have our pre-cuts, and I can tell you a little bit more about that once we get through all of the colorways. But be sure to grab that QR code or check out our website to see to get to be one of the first 50 to get that discounted rate on the pre-order. Let me hide this. Don't worry, that QR code will come back. I just need a full screen to show you all this fabric here. Okay, so that was colorway number 2, and here is colorway number 3, this gorgeous electric purple. Now, what you'll notice is these 3 colorways are really very different, but there is a through line. So altogether, and I'll show you a couple of projects that use all of the fabrics, and you'll see just how cohesive they are. When you're looking at the individual kind of mini collection, for example, it looks like different collections, right? The colors are so wildly different. But if you look, this bright green and that seafoam color, those are the colors that are going to pull through and they're going to connect all of the different colorways together. Now, you could take just one of these colorways and make a perfectly lovely, wonderful, fabulous project, which was great if you're making something, especially the smaller scale. So, like a bag, pick a colorway, lean in, and go with it. But one of my favorite quilts, and this one, I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret. I have ordered one of these kits for myself because I cannot wait to make it. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we'll get to that in just a second. But it has all of these colors together, and it's fabulous. Now, if you've been following Tula for a while, you know that she is very much a West Coast girly. And so the ocean is a part of her um, I guess ethos of her core, right? And she's had a couple of under the sea lines. This is her 4th under the sea themed line. She had said that this is her favorite. Now I know, like in the artistic endeavors, we're not supposed to pick favorites, but she said that this one is her favorite. She's learned everything that she can, or she's learned a whole ton of stuff over the past 50 plus collections. This is now, if I'm doing my math right, 52, collection number 52. And she's bringing all of that knowledge and drawing on all of that artistic, I guess, love and passion. And it really shows in this collection. The other thing that I want to point out is it doesn't necessarily read as super under the sea themed. And you could see, like, sure, there are some fish and there are some shells that are obviously belong, I guess, underwater or maybe on the beach. But when you're looking at something like the Friends and Anemones, this print down here it's drawn on something that's an under the sea, underwater kind of thing, but it could be any kind of really beautiful flower. And so it bridges that gap between under the sea and just a beautiful floral, which is perfect, the name of it, which is Floral Reef. We have one more quilt back. We had the blue, we had that neon kind of very bright yellow, and now we've got this gorgeous purple here, along with those big scaled shells, along with the dots. Makes a beautiful quilt back here. We've got a couple of stripes. Now let's see if I can go back here. I will point out that this stripe is another one that is a repeat from one selvage to the other. And so if you're getting a fat quarter, this is what it will look like. Certainly not in this scale, but if you're looking from left to right, that's going to be the half width of fabric. And so you'll get some length up here if you're getting a fat quarter, but so you'll get a complete picture of all of the stripes. And then we've got the same thing with this wave of stripes. This one, from what I've seen in the fabric, it doesn't look like this is a complete full repeat of the fabric, but just know that from selvage to the midpoint of the fabric where a fat quarter would be cut, you'll get a number of these wavy striped repeats. And then we've got another really in the gorgeous, a little bit of that coral, but in the color ultraviolet. We've got the aquatic lace that is kind of ombre, kind of print. So it really bridges a lot of the divide here. Really very well thought out. Now, I didn't think I was going to find another fabric line that I liked as much as Everglow. That was in recent history, that's been my favorite Tula Pink. Nope, sorry, I'm giving you the wrong one. That has been my favorite Tula Pink collection. This one might have surpassed it. So if you have a favorite Tula Pink collection, I would love to see that in the chat, just to see where everybody's coming from. If you are new to Tula, even better, even better. Let's see here. The wiggly stripes are awesome. Yeah, it's just kind of creative and unique. And to think the wavy stripes, according to Tula's Tuesday, almost didn't make the collection. Like there are some tough decisions that are made when you're designing fabric. I say this like I design fabric all the time, but just seeing what sometimes ends up on the cutting room floor, there are definitely some tough decisions that have to be made. And so it's fabulous, just the whole process and how we end up with the best of the best. So keep in mind, especially if you are just joining us, we were showing you the Tula Pink Floral Reef collection. Those first 50 pre-orders are going to get a discounted rate, and then it'll go back up to the price. Now, when you scan that QR code or when you take a look at our website, you will see both the discounted rate for those first 50 and then what the normal rate is. And so if you have any questions about that, do let us know. So I did promise you some projects. Whoops, there we go. I did promise you some projects. And the one thing that I want to show you is this Marine Meadow quilt. Now this one is kitted up by Tula. So if you look over here, this is what the collection looks like all together with all of the fabric. So maybe I won't jump ahead to the Marine Meadow quilt just yet. And so we are offering a number of different pre-cuts. Let's talk about that first. I'm very excited about the quilt, so I just wanted to jump into that. Using that same QR code, you can find the pre-cuts. Now they are going to be one listing. You'll see all of the colors, and that's how you get to the pre-cuts. We've got a couple of different options for you to choose from. We've got a 5-inch charm pack. So that's going to be a 5-inch square. It'll be 42 pieces in that charm pack, and you'll get a 5-inch square of every single fabric in the line, and there are going to be some repeats there. Now, keep in mind when you're ordering this though, that some of these scales are larger than the 5-inch square. I'm thinking specifically of the ombre, which is hidden under here under the QR code, and some of those stripes. And so you'll get a number of pieces in that particular collection. But just keep that in mind that some of these really do well on the larger scale. If you are looking at the larger scale, we've got a 2.5-inch design roll. So it's also commonly called a jelly roll. Basically what that is, it's going to be the entire width of fabric, and it's going to be 2.5 inches wide. There are tons of fabulous projects that use jelly rolls or design rolls for that 2.5-inch strip. And then lastly, or actually second to lastly, we've got some fat quarters. Fat quarters are going to be a piece of fabric that is 18 inches wide by 21 inches long, we'll call it. And as I was talking earlier about how the fabric will show up in the fat quarters, all of these fabrics, to the extent that it's not just a regular print, all of these fabrics are really designed to look well on fat quarters. So when we were talking about the ombre print, you'll get a whole section of that ombre. If you're looking at the big stripes, you'll get a whole section of that. So you won't be missing out on anything with either the design strips, because that'll be the entire width of fabric, or in the fat quarter, because that'll be a half. And these are designed to, at a minimum, repeat on the half. Now, one thing that that we do at Tiny Apple that we're bringing over to the Gotham side is we call them an apple peel, but really it's a 6-inch design roll. So we just talked about a jelly roll. You get the entire width of fabric and then 2.5-inch strip. What we do is it's a house cut, pre-cut, where it's going to be 6 inches wide by the entire width of fabric. And we find those to be a really useful size of fabric because you get, if you think about the apple peel, you could get 2 jelly rolls, 2.5-inch widths of fabric out of the 6 inches. You could get 5-inch squares out of it. You could get 5.5-inch squares if you're a big fan of the Villa Rosa patterns. There's a number that require 5.5-inch squares, so you can get those out of an apple peel. They are also great for if you just want to make some 6-inch squares and go your own way. If you don't have a specific pattern in mind, it's a great option for that too. So those are the pre-cuts that are available. Again, all of those are available for pre-order. Now, I probably should have started with that, but you're wondering, well, when would I get my fabric? As of right now, the expected delivery date is April of 2026. So we are looking a little bit out into the future, but now is when quilt shops have to get their orders in. And so that is one of the benefits, I think, for both of us, both us as shop owners and you as customers, to get your pre-orders in, because then to the extent that anything in life is guaranteed, you are guaranteed to be on the first delivery. It also helps us to know how much interest there is in a line. There have been plenty of fabric lines where I have loved it and people have not loved it. And even vice versa, where I thought it was just okay and people absolutely loved it. A lot of times I feel like our likes line up, which is always great, and the stars align. But this just helps us know how much we should order of a particular thing, so that we're not running out, that we have enough for all the projects that you have your heart set on. But let's get rid of this QR code. I'll bring that up again later, not to worry, but we've got the Marine Meadow quilt. Now, this one is a big one because Tula doesn't do anything in small measure. This quilt size is 85.5 inches by 90 inches. So it's a big, beautiful quilt, and it's perfectly sized for those quilt backs, those wide backs that we looked at earlier, all of which is available on the website. So you can get your whole kit the quilt kit and your wide back all in one. And with this, you only need 2 5/8 yards of a wide back. You'll need substantially more if you're getting the 45-inch because you'll have to do 3 wide unless you're going to do some creative piecing on the back. So you'll need quite a bit more backing if you're going to use 45-inch. But if you need if you're using a 108, you only need 2 5/8 yard, which is fabulous. So this is a beefy quilt kit. You can see that the what am I calling it? Seaweed here. The seaweed is all featuring Floral Reef. And so you get the nice biggest pieces of the Floral Reef fabric. And then all of the fish are in coordinating Tula's true colors, different fabrics. I think there's a couple of solids. There's some of the prints like the tiny dots and the tiny stripes, but this one is just a Tula extravaganza in here. Again, it's a giant quilt, 85.5 by 90, but it's made completely with traditional piecing methods. No funny business here, no applique, just fussy cutting if you care to do so, and you'll have enough fabric to do so in the kit, and traditional piecing. So that is fabulous. Anything else I want to say about that? Yeah, you are going to get 40 different fabrics in that quilt. Yeah, Raquel, it looks like seaweed. That's I thought so. I'm glad you think so too. I was worried that people wouldn't agree with me there. But yes, I appreciate that it does look like seaweed. And you're getting almost 15 yards of fabric in this quilt. That's another fabulous thing that we've got to point out about the Tula Pink quilt kits is you get plenty of fabric because the expectation is that there's going to be things that you want to fussy cut and get particular about your pieces in there. The last thing with this one that I will point out is it comes with all the fabric for the top. Again, you get 40 different fabrics in here, and the binding. Now, can I please point out this binding here? This one takes advantage of this big stripe over here. So you see this big stripe cut on the bias, so you'll have plenty of fabric to do a bias binding. Doesn't that just look like a nice, just kind of a gentle accent? You can also because your fabric is going to be, I think actually in this picture, it's just cut straight of grain. But in the version that's been floating around on the internet, it was done on the bias and it just makes the stripes just a little bit wider and I would say just a little bit cuter. But like I say, either way, you've got plenty of fabric to do that. And you'll get a pattern booklet. So with this quilt kit, it's the whole shebang, fabric for the top, fabric for the binding, and the quilt booklet. So I am going to do that QR code one more time nope, that was the wrong thing. I keep doing the wrong one. So if you're looking for any of the Tula Pink Floral Reef fabric collection, grab that QR code, head over to our website. If you're watching this on the replay, hello to all of our friends in the replay, and you'll be able to find the link in the description if you are on YouTube. Now, I kind of told you about some other things that we'll be looking to add, one of which are the Tula Pink Floral Reef project bags. Now, these bags are pre-sewn. They are that lovely vinyl material printed with the Floral Reef images. You've got your option if you want to do the project bag. So the medium one is, I believe, I don't have the sizes in front of me here. I believe it is 10.5 by, I'm not going to guess. You have the option to do a medium size, which is actually bigger than you think because it does have a gusset, so you can put quite a bit of fabric in there. There's the smaller size. We've got, they call it a pencil pouch, but it's perfect for any of those projects on the go. If you are using like English paper piecing, for example, if you want to bring something with you, if you just need to keep a little bit of something together, great for organizing your sewing room. Or you can also get a combination with them both, and then you'd save a little bit of money that way. This too is something that is coming out about the same time as the fabric. It's coming from a different manufacturer, so we might get it a little bit earlier, but it would ship with your Tula order. And those ones are also eligible for the discount for the first 50 pre-orders. And then mentioned gray work here. That is the next line that is actually coming out soonish, 2-ish weeks, give or take. That one is a lovely, lovely line. If you know me, you know that my favorite color is gray. So I'm very excited about this one. So that one, like I say, we ordered that a little bit before we came on board with Gotham, and so that one's been kicking around for just a little bit. But there are some fabulous fabrics in that. That one is still in pre-order, but it will be delivered very soon. Whew, that was a whole lot of talking. I think with this, I will go ahead and get rid of that.
Yep, that was a good job showing off all that fun fabric.
Yeah. We'll go through just a couple more projects. The other thing that is fabulous about Tula is there are lots of projects to choose from. The first one was the one that I was most excited about. I think it showed off the fabric probably the best with the fish and the seaweed, but just look at these colors and all the fun things you can do. This high tide one, just a gentle swoosh here. Otherwise, a color blocking those gorgeous fabrics. So lots of fun things to do. And then ribbons are not quite on the website yet, but they will be soon, along with webbing and the other bag things that you might need or care for. And these webbings, I'm just going to talk about them very briefly because, like I said, they're not quite on the website yet, but they will be soon. These webbings are woven and they are just fabulous. So you can see that there's a design here. When you flip over the webbing, it is reversed. So here we've got the light purple on the outside and the dark purple on the inside. When you flip over the webbing, you have the exact opposite. So you'll have the dark purple on the outside and the light purple squiggle on the inside. So do stay tuned for that.
Cool. Yeah. It's always fun to do that, right? So
indeed. I do love all the fun things that they have. Mm-hmm. So if you are interested in gray work, we were showing Floral Reef. If you're interested in gray work, that is again available for pre-order. If you are interested in the project bags, we've got the QR code there for you. And then last but not least, the belle of the ball, the whole reason for the season here, we've got the Floral Reef collection. Be sure to check that out.
Yep.
Let's see.
Love the bags, you know. People have said they love the bags. Some people are definitely bag makers, as our previous comments. So if you are a bag maker or interested in making bags, please leave a comment below and, you know, let us know.
Absolutely. I also I definitely love to find my fellow bag makers, and I will say that I'm stealing from Tula's Live for sure. But you know, it's nice when people say, "Oh, I love that bag that you made." What's even better is when people say, "I love that bag. Where did you buy it?" And then you say, "Oh no, yes. I made it." You can get so very creative with this, and with a lot of the notions that are coming out now, it's so easy to get that really nice professional look. And so I'm really happy with the webbing and the hardware, the coordinating hardware, and this new vinyl, the different pieces that we can get to make these bags amazing and fabulous.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
Indeed. So that is that. Not a whole lot of questions on the Tula Pink Floral Reef. Just a reminder, especially if you're watching the replay and you've got a favorite Tula collection, let us know. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what people love to see.
Let us know where you're watching from. We like to know where people are watching us from too. So yeah,
That is
well,
true.
it's good to see that too.
So Ken, do you have a favorite Tula collection?
They're all cool to me. Tula it never stops to amaze me with what she comes up with. I wish I had a brain like she did to come
So
up with
very
those.
creative.
Yeah, very creative, very pretty, very bold. I don't have that kind of design element, but it's always a mystery. Most design makers are pretty cool, but Tula has that very bold approach. I love it.
Yes,
So
indeed. Well, some people design and some people do creative things with those designs, and that's maybe where we fit
exactly
in.
right.
We do the fun things.
So
So that was the show today. That was Tula. Let's end how we always end it with a little bit of housekeeping. Want to remind you of our thread talk tomorrow with Meg Cox. She the more I talk to her, the more excited I am to hear this talk. She is going to give you access to over 400 years of quilts without even leaving your seat, just with the click of a mouse. And you can use these quilts for your inspiration. If you're, I guess researching, you could use it for that too. But looking at the workmanship, the creativity, what people did with what they had, it is just inspiring and fabulous. So a great thread talk. This will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so you've got probably about 24 hours from now to sign up. So if you're watching this a little bit later, make sure you scan that QR code, make sure you go to our website and sign up for that thread talk. We've got just about a week left. No, something less than a week left on the extra special discount on Sew Tights. Last week, we showed you the magnetic cutting system. There are lots of other options and notions at Sew Tights as well. They are offering for a very limited time up through October 12th an extra special discount. So that's 15% off. After that, it goes down to 10. This is a limited time deal. I don't think they're going to offer it again anytime in the near future, although I am not the owner of Sew Tights, so I cannot speak for them. But the way they made it sound, the 15% is a very special kind of an act now kind of a thing. And so you'll just want to go to the Sew Tights website, use that QR code, and use our coupon code SEWING. SEWING to get that 15% off. Again, if you were watching this before October 12th, on or before October 12th, you will get that 15% discount.
yeah, we've had a customer's been using it and playing with it in the store. They just love it. It's a lot of fun.
It is definitely investment, but it is so worth it. I been playing around with it a little bit in the store too, and it is fabu.
Fabu.
And last but not least, we've got just another plug for our Stitch Lab. If you're not familiar, it is the best way to have quilting or let's call it stitching community. We meet once a month and have a challenge prompt. We'll call it a challenge prompt. So it's just a great way to have community, to share what you're working on, to broaden your horizons a little bit, to try something just a little bit new. And you get to take your interpretation of the prompt. So this month's prompt for this particular meeting, which is going to be, I believe, next week. It's the third Thursday of the month. And if I've got that wrong, I hope somebody corrects me. But it is also on the Raquel is making fun of my fabu.
Yeah, fabu, right?
Yes. The information is on the listing for Stitch Lab there. But what I'm so excited about is this is beyond the 2D. This is dimensional stitching. And so really it's open to any kind of stitchers, whether you are a sewer, a quilter, a garment maker, a crocheter, a needlework artist, an embroiderer, a cross stitcher, a knitter. I think I've got most of the stitching, probably. Any kind of stitching you do is welcome, and we would love to have you. So consider signing up for Stitch Lab. This for next month, if you're interested in attending the November session, we do have a little nifty gifty that is going out to all of our registered attendees. So there has never been a better time to join Stitch Lab, and that we're trying something a little new to send out something that goes along with each month's thing. So you do get a little prize in the mail too. So very excited to see all the new faces at Stitch Lab. It's one of those things where the more people we have, the better off it is, the better the community is, and the more different viewpoints that we have, the more interesting and creative the conversations are. So if you need a little place, a little break to be creative, consider signing up for Stitch Lab. It is completely virtual. So it's hosted on our Mighty Networks system, where you get access to the Gotham community there too. So a great option. So
Yeah.
I think I've done enough talking. I think that's about it.
You've done great. So
thank you very much.
yes.
Well, you've done great too, Ken. Thank you.
Yeah, I try.
So with that, I will bid you all adieu and say happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us with Live at Gotham Quilts, even if it wasn't so live for you. We always love people watching on the replay as well.
Yeah.
We will see you next week at the same bat time, same bat channel. That is Tuesdays at 6:30. And don't forget to sign up, or don't forget to, sign up for Stitch Lab, but don't forget to take advantage of that discount for the first 50 people who pre-order Tula's Floral Reef. It's a gorgeous collection. So we will see you next Tuesday at 6:30. Until then.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. So thank you. We got to do the call to action. So
we got to do the call to actions. Yes, we heart our subscribers.
Yes, that's right. So please like and subscribe. So
thank you so much, Ken. It was a blast, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.